Hello and welcome to Logistic Talks. In today's session, I'm going to have the pleasure to have a conversation with my dear colleague, Michael Lohmeyer. With him, we're going to talk about decarbonizing the road freight with a special attention to the last mile and the long haul.
Hi, I'm Michael Lohmeyer. I'm VP of Clean Operations Technology Center at DHL Group. My role is to decarbonize road and real estate operations.
Michael, thank you very much for joining today's session of Logistic Talks. You know what? Today is an exception. It is the first time that we have somebody from DHL to be interviewed. But we really thought that you were the man who is going to be able to inspire and give advices to the subject we're going to touch today, which is about decarbonizing the transportation. So, Michael, you are the VP of CleanOps Technology Center. Why don't you tell me about your responsibilities?
Yeah, thanks, Eric, for the invitation. So our team is supporting all divisions that we have in our group to find the right technology solution to decarbonize the operations on road for real estate, and on the other side, we also help to implement them.
Good. So now tell me, when you reflect on the last 10 years, can you give me an overview of the journey of decarbonizing road transport and the achievement that you made over this period of time?
I mean, we started in 2008, 2009 with the Go Green program, and the first targets were set to reduce carbon emissions in our daily transportation. We plan to have 60% electrification on the last mile and about 30%, a little bit more than 30% in line hauling being reduced through daily operations, through the usage of technologies in daily operations.
So, Michael, tell me, how did you prioritize your investment given these geographical differences?
First of all, we see where we get the most CO2 reduction from the investment. So it's for us interesting how much money do we need to spend to reduce 1 ton of CO2. And that very much differs between vans, trucks, but also buildings. Also inside the transportation mode, you have big differences coming from subsidies in certain regions, coming from different driving cycles in certain countries.
Good, thank you. And tell me right there, are the short and long distance transport, are these really two different animals?
Yes, for the short ones, so when we say for the smaller ones, so the pickup and delivery vans, the technology is at the moment really going for us into the direction of electrification. So this is already running. We have roughly 30,000 electric vans already on the road for our customers on the last mile traffic. What's more difficult is really to find a solution for the trucks, as this is at the moment more in a way to have a bridging solution coming from gas, liquefied gas, but also biogas, and then more in the future the electric truck, which is coming, but still very expensive. So the solution is quite differing from smaller to bigger commercial vehicle.
So then let's start right there with the last mile. What has been your approach so far?
The approach is really to electrify the last mile. We have at the moment diesel vehicles. They have an average of 35 to 40 kilometers in Germany. They drive, so that's a perfect scenario for an electric vehicle. So this was the reason which has been taken a couple of years ago already to fully go via electric. So at the moment we have roughly 30,000 electric vehicles on the last mile running in our company, which is a lot. So don't know any other company at the moment who has more. The target now, as said at the beginning, is to have 60% of these vehicles switched to full electric by 2030. So at the moment we have a little bit more than 30 already. So we need to go another 30%, but that looks quite good.
All right. So you won't be surprised by my next question, which has to do with cost. So these are electrical vehicles for the last mile. How do they compare with the modern diesel vehicles?
They are still more expensive from the purchase cost, but we also take into consideration the total cost of ownership. The kilowatt hour of electricity is quite more cost effective than the liter of diesel, first point. Second point, we also get still some subsidies for vehicles, be it local subsidies or tax reductions that you can use in certain countries, also in Germany, that help you also for the business case. And last but not least, in some areas we also have lower maintenance and repair costs for the vehicles. So at the end, a good business case at the moment, and we hope it can be better in the future, but it's still already really good.
But tell me, a good business case sometimes comes with its own challenges. So have you encountered any difficulties while you were doing this program?
No, difficulties only so far that subsidies are not paid anymore in any country. So there was a good starting point for the governments to push the market, which is good. But especially for commercial vehicles, we see more and more that the subsidies are dropped. So this doesn't help the commercial vehicle traffic at the moment to bring more of these vehicles on the road and makes them more expensive. So this is also then a little bit slowing down the market. This is really one complication we definitely see.
So, Michael, let's think about the near future. How do you see these electrical vehicles developing in the future?
I think, first of all, we would expect to have more models in the market that we can use. We have more OEMs that deliver these kind of vehicles for our operations. Point number two is that for sure the technique itself, so the daily range due to bigger batteries will improve. But nevertheless, at the end of the day, at the moment, the battery ranges that exist are far good really for our daily operations. If we do not talk about very specific daily driving cycles in our company up to 300, 400 kilometers, they are already existing. Yes, we have them, but the biggest portion of the mileage, of the daily mileage is really then, let's say, around 150 to 200. This can be done with the daily technique already.
All right, perfect. Now, Michael, with all this experience, so what would be the 1, 2, 3 advices you would give to somebody undertaking the electrification of the fleet?
Electrification of the last mile fleet, pickup and delivery fleet. The biggest advice is really, first of all, look into the infrastructure that you have on site. So how many vehicles do you plan to charge? Do you have enough electricity to charge them? This is point number one. If not, then you can work on that quickly, or let's say in the moment when you order the van. So this is advice number one. I would then always go for it and say, okay, make a profile of your daily driving cycles. If you have a lot of driving cycles below 200, then you definitely can do it. Bear in mind that in winter season you have lower range, but this can also be considered and can be calculated before. So you can do it.
Okay. So in the marketplace, we've seen many things lately on new incentives here and prices for electrical supplies going up. Did you have to adapt the strategy?
No, I don't think so. So we, as I said, we are already active since 2015. We know the market. We also know the building structure of our own buildings. We also know how the countries around Germany and in other regions look like in terms of electricity and grid connection. So we are good prepared for pickup and delivery to bring this really on the road.
Okay. Well, Michael, now let's talk about the long haul, which is another animal. From your standpoint, the electrification of the trucking for the long haul, is that the solution?
Yes, it is, definitely, but it's still very expensive, to be honest. We see very high costs still for the purchasing of the truck, and we see very high costs to prepare the charging infrastructure, which has totally different requirements than these infrastructure types that we normally use for our pickup and delivery fleet. So they are far more expensive for the trucks. What we have at the moment is also gas trucks in our fleet, be it liquefied natural gas, LNG, or compressed natural gas, CNG, both available as a bio version, so also both available to reduce at least 80 to 85% of CO2 in the operations. So we see this as an intermediate step, as a bridging solution on the way to electrify the trucks as well. And we, at the moment, also do both.
Okay, so that is the, as you said, the intermediate step. But when you look at the future, near future, what would be your target?
Yeah, the target is to have 30% of the trucks with an alternative solution. That could be gas, but that could be also electrification of the truck. To be honest, the electrification of the trucks is just starting. So we get the first 30 trucks. We have them in operation at the moment. We get some more over the next months. This is nothing to compare with 30,000 of the vans that we already have, because the technology is more different. The range is limited at the moment to 200, maybe 300 kilometers in a best way. And then when, again, we talk about winter season, when we talk about heating of the truck and so on, this dramatically affects also the range of the truck. And therefore, we at the moment see this not as a solution for the long haul.
Yeah, that's right. So we discuss, these different technologies. We have the electric, the hydrogen, the hybrid. What do you see coming on in this long haul business?
We definitely see that electrification will come. Also the OEMs, but also energy companies prepare for that. We see big companies coming with solutions like battery storage, DC charging solutions, public charging solutions, to prepare really the motorways that these trucks really can stop after 300 kilometers, can charge very quickly and go the next 300 to the next charging point. So this will come. But that takes time.
Good. So, excuse me for this, but I have to come back to discuss money. So these technologies, and how do they compare to diesel here again?
They are really, really expensive. So we talk about maybe 2 to 3 times more higher investment for the electric truck than for the diesel one at the moment. We see costs go down a little bit, but not that fast as we expected. So it's still a cost issue. In Germany, we see a toll coming up, which is making the diesel more expensive. Maybe this is also coming in other countries as well. So this could then also put more benefit on the side of the electric truck. But on the other side, it's still far more expensive without infrastructure, what we have at the moment. So adding the infrastructure onto the truck, this is then another 50, 100,000 euro per charger that you need, which is to be solved.
Yeah. So check out your crystal ball and tell me, when do you think these costs are going to be competitive against the diesel?
We very much live today from our business. So experts out there expect a cost parity end of this decade, and we hope that this will come.
And tell me something, aside from the cost, do you see any other challenges with decarbonizing long-haul trucking?
Yeah, sure. It's as well, again, the story of the infrastructure. So these trucks have a very, very high energy demand. They have also high peak demands when they charge. So we talk about maybe one truck is comparable, one line hauling truck is comparable to probably 60 to 100 vans. So you really need to prepare your site for it. That all these trucks that you plan to charge, there can be charged. This is the biggest challenge that we see at the moment, really bringing also production solutions like PV systems, like wind energy on site to support this charging of the truck, which is not yet existing, but we need to work on that as well.
So when you talk with the customers, I mean, what is it that you tell them to convince them to switch to electrical fleets?
Yeah, maybe if it is not electrical, we also can go for the gas truck as an intermediate solution. If the target of the customers is to reduce CO2, we also see bio-CNG, bio-LNG as an option that we could do. So we would also be able to prepare a complete long-haul trip or more of them with an alternative truck. We also have a fuel planner in place, for example, that we've developed to give a very quick overview for the customers what is available as a refueling station, which type of gas and how green is it. So this is existing. And if we talk about the electric trucks, this is also an option. We can do that. It's a matter of cost, to be very honest, and to be very open. But if the willingness is there to invest into this really new and modern technology, we would be prepared to set up the infrastructure for it, to organize the truck and to drive the truck.
And for any organization, customers who would undertake this path, what would be your advices?
Our advice is always to start early, because you also have a learning curve, be it the driver. The driver need to understand that the driving itself is comparable to the diesel vehicle, but the behavior of the vehicle, it needs to be charged. It's quite different. So there's a learning curve also on the user side. There's a learning curve on the maintenance and repair side. There's a learning curve also from the charging side. We did this exercise already for the POD vans. We learned a lot with the first 30,000 vans, and we expect the same for the trucks. So our motivation is always to do it, and we would be happy if our customers would share that as well.
Yeah, I'm happy you mentioned the drivers, because you see I'm asking questions about the cost, about the technologies, but what do the drivers say when they have a new vehicle?
They love it. So the drivers we are talking to in the pilot projects that we have, they really love the truck. They love the driving behavior. It's calm. It's a new technology. It's modern. So we never had the case that one of these colleagues said, "No, I don't want to drive it anymore. Give me my diesel back." That's for sure. But it's always a change. You need to be aware. You need to send a lot of information to drivers that plan to drive the truck, and when they have this information, when they are trained on the truck, it's a perfect couple.
Excellent. Look, Michael, we come into an end of this conversation. I wanted to really thank you very much for, touching all the aspects of this major change. So thank you very much again for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.